Good morning. Today is the 4th of October 2024 and I'm going to go through my levels I'm watching for today. Got some good levels, not as good as yesterday's levels, but we've got some decent levels. We had news coming at 8:30, non-farm payrolls, and we saw a big move, big reaction to that, and I'll go into the candle and I've marked that off because it could be an area we can watch later. Rest of today, not much. That's the only news. Fed speaking 9 o'clock right now, but that doesn't affect if we're trading off the market. Okay, so on my screen we are looking at the ES, which is the S&P 500 E-mini futures, and we're currently on the 1 hour time frame. So big reaction to the news here, big push up. I've marked off the 5-minute candle. I do like to mark off the moves on the 5-minute candle. So this is a 5-minute candle marked off using the fibs, just basically 1, 50%, 0. And it's just more out of interest. I'm trying to come up with a data strategy, a news 8:30 news strategy, but we've broken above this area, and you could probably expect it to come back down into one of these regions for a bounce. If we do, I don't have a strategy yet in place. I may watch it for a scalp, but I just want to keep an eye on it, and I'm just monitoring it and just noting down what happens when we get to those places. But generally, that data candle is where we can expect to see all the algos sitting, and we could expect to see the algos kick in if we get back down into those regions, and so hence we could be watching for a bounce. I am watching for a bounce in this area, which I'll get to in the hourly chart in a second. We could also, this area could also bounce, or we could just see the market playing between these areas. But interesting to mark these off, just so we can see what happens when we get down to the area. Let's look at the hourly again. So this fibs is just the 5-minute one. I'll just put it in so I can see it on the hourly. One of the levels I'm watching is actually happens to be right on that 50% mark of that 5-minute candle, data candle, and it's around this area, 57.79. I'm going to be watching that area for a bounce. We've broken this downtrend, as you can see, and so I will potentially be looking for a bounce down in this region again if we get back down. But you can clearly see this trend has been broken, and so I do quite like the retest of that yesterday's high, previous few days highs. So it's a big key area, and you can see it's an area of confidence as well. Not only have we got tops of candles, bottoms of candles, and then the tops from the last few days, we've got massive high volume. The point of control runs right through that area as well. So this is a key area to watch today for me. I'll come back down, I'll be watching it for the bounce. Also we've got the 50% mark on that fibs candle. So that's the first area I'm watching. The next level, there's only 3 levels I'm really watching. I'm watching this region up here for a rejection. That's around, I've got 58.16 marked off, and that's the top of this candle there. You can see we pushed in and we had this massive reaction to it 3 days ago. So that's a key area, but I'll be waiting. Potentially want to see it spike that area, maybe into the all-time highs above, come back down, and I'll be looking for a re-entry, and it'll be something like that. That's the pattern I'm looking for. I'm watching for a break of trend and then a pullback into a lower high. And I took a great trade yesterday, which was exactly that pattern, which I can show you in a second. In fact, all the levels I've been watching this week have all, especially this area here, I don't know how I had a red day on this day, because I had 2 levels marked out, and those 2 levels were absolutely spot on. But I had a decent green day yesterday. I was patient, I waited. I'll go into that trade in a second. So we've got this level we're watching, we've got this level I'm watching, potentially down into yesterday's high, so this region really. So 57.70 is an area I've been watching previously, so we could potentially watch this area, either the bounce off that 50% fibs or the lower fibs. And then I'm also watching this region again. So there's 2 plays for this region. We're watching for a bounce, come back down. We've had a few pivots, a few fake breakdowns in there. Whether we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, a 5th fake breakdown, or whether we do continue, but I'll be watching that area for either a bounce or a retest into that region to continue to move down. And so that's really the areas I'm watching. There is one other area which I mentioned, but we're far from it now. Had we broken down that area, be in play, and that's the bounce, probably this level here, or potentially coming into this trend line. So we've got the point of control, big volume shelf, tops of pivots here, tops of pivots here, in between, but we've yet to retest that area. So we could watch this area for a bounce. 5700 psychological number as well, so that's an area to keep an eye on. If we do lose that trend line, we do have this area of confidence just below, so we can probably use this region as a bounce area. That's it. So just recap, 3 levels. I'm watching for a retest of this zone here around 5770 to 5780. I'm looking for the rejection of this zone up here, and again, I'm not looking for it to spike in a V shape. These have been difficult to play. I'm looking for it to come back and put in a higher low and then rejection, but it has to break the trend. And then I'm looking for the bounce down this region or the break and retest short. Let me just go into the 2-minute chart and show you the trade from yesterday, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. So yesterday I had this level marked out and I was really keen to take it. It came down a couple of times, but it didn't hit my level. It wasn't the level I was interested in. I really wanted to take out this previous low, and then eventually we sold off about 1 PM and we came through, and my alert went off because my alert was just below that level. Came in, I didn't take anything, I waited, and what I was waiting for, this is the exact level I'm waiting for. So this is the trend line coming down, and you can see exactly what I took. There's a few reasons. So it broke the trend, came back up, retested that trend line, and I went long there. My stop was originally quite a wide stop, but I did move it to that point, and then I went away and I just let it play out. In fact, when I got back, it was a wide stop, so I had quite a big, I really wanted to get back up to that high again, and that would have been about 3R roughly. But in the end, I came back just before the market closed, and I got out of my trade at that point there. So it's a decent trade, about 2R I think, but this is the exact setup I'm looking for, and it's the break of a trend line, and then the retest. I'm looking for a decent candle down, but with lack of follow through, and that's exactly what I was looking for. And you know, even if I missed it, you've got the retest as well. While I was away, I did think I stopped out because I saw it come back, but I didn't really look at the chart properly because my stops were just there, and it worked fine. And if you go back the previous day, exactly the same trade, and it would have been a short. Patience is the key. Here we go. So let's just put the line in. Break a trend. This is a trade I took actually. I was down. I was impatient and I was trying to go short there, and I think I went short there and I got stopped out a couple of times. But then I waited. But it's the patience. So it finally broke the trend. That's what I'm waiting for. To break the trend, come back up, retest with no follow through, puts in a lower high, and my entry. Let's clear that. My entry was there, and I gave myself a high of the day stop at the time. Came back, it retested. You could have retested or added there as well, and it came down. So I did, even though I had 2 losses there and I had a win there, it kind of broke even. It was I didn't size up, didn't put as much size as I wanted. I was half risk as well by that point because I already had 2 losses. So kind of a breaking. I think I was slightly red for the day, but being impatient here and here, the actual level was in place. That was my level as well. I shouldn't have even touched it. I just had FOMO because it went through my level here, came back up, and then I just watched it go up and up and up all day. So this trade was a great trade as well. And I can probably go back to the previous day. I had a losing day on this day, and it came down to my level. Look at this. again, impatience. I think I tried a bounce there and it got stopped out, and then I think I may have tried a rejection. I think I got stopped out as well, and I may have even got a bit of FOMO and got back in. But the trade was, you can see, break a trend. In fact, it's hard. I noticed it's been harder in the morning, but in fact the trade was this one here. That's the one I was originally watching, and I should have waited for. It didn't come to my level, so it wasn't really a valid trade, but you could have taken it as scalp. Break a trend, come back in. In fact, I did try that one and it did stop me out. But then the next one, which is what I didn't do because I was done by then. So this is a trend I took. Break a trend. Sorry, the level's not very good. I think that was my trend there, going through 3 pivots. And I did this on the sim in the end because I stopped trading. I hit my maximum loss for the day. So we came through, we broke the trend, we came back, and that was the entry there. Small amount of risk, and you could easily hit 3R. 3 and 5R is what I've looked for. So the key is patience, and I struggle with patience. So let's go back to where we are now, and I want to try and replicate the patience from yesterday. Back to the hourly. So that's my levels for ES. A bit of a digested. I just went off on a tangent for a bit. SPY is the same. We can watch this area 574.37 to 574.50 for the rejection. In fact, all of this zone is in play. And then the bounce area is back down here at 564.50. And why have we got that? Okay, yeah, we've got tops of candles, bottoms of candles, bottoms of candles. So we want to see it come down into this region, watch it for a bounce. If it doesn't bounce and it breaks through, we want to break and retest short, and we can target that area 560 for the bounce. And that's it really. You could also watch the scalp off of that area there. SPX, pretty sure levels have not changed. No, same levels as previously. Maybe we can fine tune this a bit to that pivot. And I will be opening up here somewhere, I'd imagine. So we can watch 57.67 for the rejection off of all-time highs. And then we watch for the bounce off of yesterday's high as well. That should be around about the 50% mark. NQ. Let's have a look, see what we've got previously. So we can watch this area 20,500 for the rejection. So it's the top of a pivot there, close to the bottom of a pivot there, not quite. So we can watch this area for the rejection. Let's get rid of that one. And I'm not sure why I put it there. Let's put it back again because it does coincide with an area of confidence as well. So we can keep an eye on that one. The best area is this bounce area, 19,800, or the rejection, probably, we're coming close to it, between 20,300 to 20,380, and then obviously that area, and that's it. It's not, no massive levels. We're above, as you can see, we're above the 200 moving average now. We've been trading below that now, so it means, for me, it means I'll be looking more long bias rather than short bias. So I quite like the retrace back down and the break. If we come back down to this region, 478 for the bounce, 483 for the bounce, or the rejection can be this region, 490 to 490.36 for the rejection, and that's will be against the trend if we reject up here. Crude oil is looking strong due to the war, or what's going on in the Middle East, Lebanon, Israel, Iran. I think 76 to 76.33 rejection area. It's a big area of confidence. You can see tops of pivots, bottoms of pivots, tops, and it's a trend line. We can probably redraw these trend lines. I'm not sure what happens in trading view for the trend lines to start not being as accurate as you want. There we go, you can see that one there. It's a rough idea, it's a rough guide, just put it on the most recent pivots. There. Why is that? I've got a magnet on. Let's turn. There we go. Let's zoom back in again. So the trend lines up will be close to, let's go back to the hourly. Okay, not quite on that pivot, but we can watch this trend line, 76.33 for the rejection. And if we pull back down, we can potentially watch, let's just have a bit of a fine tune. Now we've gone past these levels. 72.50, 72.44 for the bounce. And I do quite like the bounce of the trend line. And we've got the point of control as well. This level here and this red line shows us where the most amount of volume is over the last, since August. This is a chart. This is chart volume profile. So when I zoom in and out, it changes based on what we're seeing on the current chart. So we can see the most amount of volumes coming through that area. So we can watch this region for a bounce as well off that trend line. And it's tops of candles as well. And that's around 71, 66 to 71. Next up is gold, which has been on a massive bull run. Still doing what it was doing yesterday. In fact, it's a slight development. Just put a line in. We had this pattern forming. So that goes back to here. And now we've broken that pattern. So potentially we've broken this uptrend. So maybe a retest of yesterday's low for the short down. But we are in a bounce point right now as well, so hard to still hard to go short. We've lost the 200 moving average on the hourly, which means I'll be more biased on shorts rather than longs. You can see how well we've held it. We've held it since middle of September. We've held it. We've almost held it there, and now we've finally lost it. So we can watch this area for a bounce where we exactly are right now, and we can also watch a break and retest of this zone up here, and that is around 26.80. So let's just find a level. Oh, we have already bounced actually, so we can watch probably yesterday's high, pre-market high for the rejection. If, however, we give this all back, or we get it all back, we break above, then a break and retest of pre-market high would be on. As long as we clear these pivots, we want to clear these pivots. This is leftover. There's going to be leftover orders up here, so it may just spike up, pick up the orders and come back down again. So we want to clear this area. So that's gold. The Russell 2000. Clear rejection area at this region here, and that's 22.54. Let's just put a level in. We've got the point of control as well. So massive amount of volume up there, big volume shelf. You can see big area of confluence, tops of candles, bottoms of candles, tops, and we've yet to retest that area. So I like 22.50 for the rejection, and then I do quite like the bounce back down here again. So a better place? No, probably this region. Pre-market low to yesterday's low for the bounce at 21.88. And then finally YM. This is the Dow Jones. Looking strong. I like the break and retest over pre-market high into the new all-time highs. And we can watch that area for potential rejection, but we are in an uptrend showing not much sign of weakness. We've reclaimed the 200 as well, so hard to go short even up here, so it'll be a scalp if we do. Bounce wise, if we come back down to pre-market low, yesterday's low, quite like that area for a bounce. You can see general theme here is come into that region and bounce every time, so no reason why we can't bounce a second time, and we can keep watching it for bounces until finally it doesn't. And the same here, we can watch this area for rejections as well. And then Bitcoin was selling off for the last few days. So it looks like it's putting in a bit of a reversal pattern. The reason I see that, we're looking at, so we are still putting in a lower low, and we've broken that trend and we're coming out of that area now. So potentially a retest of pre-market low long. What's that, 60,000 to 61,000. We can also watch for the rejection up here as well. Again, I'm not really doing much with Bitcoin. I've taken a bit of profit up here, printing out. I've been adding at the bottoms. Proves I did miss that ad. I wasn't around when it got down to there those few days. I was away on holiday. I missed that as well. A bit disappointing, but my ads are generally, I averaged in a bit and I took out the profit from that one. That's a bad ad, that was. But I've been keeping an eye on Bitcoin for some time. I'll bring it in. No, I can't zoom out at the daily. So this is a daily. You can see we're clearly in this channel, so nothing to do. We just keep playing the channel until it breaks. And that's it. Have a quick look at ES and have a quick look at the order flow. You can see on my screen I've got 4 windows. When I'm getting to a level I'm watching for a reversal, I'll keep an eye on this one and this one. These are the 2 main ones I watch. At the moment it's doing exactly what I expected to do. There's no anomalies, there's nothing, so nothing really to see. But I'm looking for maybe the price to be increasing and then the cumulative delta to be decreasing, and that will show me then that we've got price movement, but there's no aggressive buying, so it could be a little bit of absorption or a lack of interest. But that's it. The stream will be live all day until the market closes, so log on to the other stream to see that, and I'll be back on Monday. Okay, trade safe.